Hey there, it's the One Boom, and welcome to an episode of Mindset. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the proper way to criticize a video game. Enjoy the video. Alright, so you want to be critical about a video game. There's things you do and do not like about the game. You want to express your opinions in a constructive way that comes across to your viewer, reader, friend, whoever it may be. You want to know how to do that. Before I go any further, we're going to stick to first-person shooters in this video, primarily Battlefield, Halo, and Call of Duty. A lot of people will tell you you can't compare one game franchise to another. For instance, if I was playing a match of Call of Duty Ghosts, didn't like something, I'm not allowed to refer back to my feelings about Halo or Battlefield because they're entirely different games. You've actually probably heard your friends or a YouTuber say that, oh, there's no real comparison, they're entirely different games. Yes, they are, but they all have one thing in common: their price. Not every game that you buy or is purchased for you will lighten your life. Some of them are just downright frustrating. You end up not liking them. You feel like your money, your family's money went down the drain. It's just a big mess, right? So why wouldn't you compare games to each other? Why wouldn't I compare Call of Duty to Battlefield or Halo to Call of Duty? They all want my money, my playtime. They want me to refer the game to my friends. So why wouldn't I compare them? If Battlefield's giving me free DLC weapons and free maps and free this and free that, and it's paying for my college tuition, why can't I hold that over Call of Duty and say, hey, I don't want to play you. You don't give me that stuff that I like. So what I'm saying is, if one game is offering more than another game that's in direct competition, we'll talk about that more in a second. If it's offering more, why can't I use what it's offering me as an argument as to why the other game needs to improve? Now, when I say indirect competition, what I mean is, no, you can't compare Call of Duty to Minecraft. No, you can't compare Kingdom Hearts to Mario. You cannot compare Battlefield to Star Fox. What you'll have to do is you'll have to really critically think, and it's just a normal critical thinking exercise, process what games are in direct competition, and those are usually games with the most similarities, and they're also usually going to be copying each other a little bit. You'll be able to tell, like, if Halo does a double XP weekend, then Call of Duty does. If Battlefield does a double XP weekend, then Battlefront does. You'll be able to tell. I know I brought Battlefront into the mix. I'm sure we'll be able to figure this out. You'll be able to tell which one's in direct competition. So right now you can tell that Call of Duty is in direct competition with, that's right, Battlefield and Halo. They're all on the same consoles. They have the same premise, competitive shooter aspects. You get it. And as a consumer, they look at it as, oh, well, they want a first-person shooter in which you face off against an enemy team online. So, any game that's doing the same thing at the same time on the same platforms are in direct competition immediately. Alright, so what I said about a game offering more. It doesn't always have to be more. Like in the case of Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 added a ton of free maps and weapons that you didn't have to do any RNG bullshit for. There was no gambling, there was no supply drops, you just got free weapons, and you just got free maps. Alright, so right off the bat, that is more than what Call of Duty's been giving us. Any free stuff that's come into Call of Duty over the last year has been RNG based. The one exception being the M1 Irons in Advanced Warfare, which is a revolver that everybody got in their inventory immediately, and the game got a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, and it was great, and they're never going to do that again. But anyway, it doesn't always have to be more when it comes to comparing games or being critical about one game. It very well could be a feature that's just better executed in a different game. For instance, I think the RNG system in Halo 5 is way better than Black Ops 3. Not within the contents of the drops, because Halo has a dumb way of, handing out vehicles and weapons. I don't really like that aspect, but I mean in the way that you actually earn the drops. In Halo 5, I feel properly rewarded for my playtime. After a play session, no matter how frustrating, I can see my number of rec points up around 10,000. Which means I could go buy around 8 drops. Or I could buy 2 rare drops, or I could buy 1 super rare drop. They're not rare because they're hard to find, it's just they contain more rare items. You get it. Anyway, what I'm saying is I feel more properly rewarded than in Black Ops 3, where after a long play session, I have like 10 to 15 crypto keys, and I kind of feel like I'm, taking a long walk for a short drink of water. That's the saying, right? But those are entirely different games. Yes, but they both cost the same amount of money. They both have a very similar experience, a competitive multiplayer experience. So, when they're battling for my playtime, because we're in control. I mean, really, we like to think that, the big companies, control everything, but we're in control. They are desperate for our money and playtime. So think of it that way. When you're comparing two games and you're being critical about Call of Duty, and you bring Halo or Battlefield into the conversation and say this game does this better, this game does this worse, and when you're doing that, you're embracing that power. So always look at games that are in direct competition when you're talking about a feature that you do or do not like in a video game. Another example is kill satisfaction between Halo and Call of Duty. After playing Halo 5, I started to remember one of the things I look for in a shooter more than anything else, and that is kill satisfaction. Kill satisfaction is a very underrated, overlooked thing by game developers when developing a first-person shooter. So in contrast of playing Halo in the afternoon, like early afternoon, and then playing Call of Duty in the evening, I felt a difference. I felt like in Call of Duty, I was just kind of mowing through people, and it, puts the numbers on my screen, my streak meter goes up, whatever. But in Halo, when you get a kill and you get a headshot, you get a satisfying noise. And if you get all your shots on target, the announcer goes, perfect. And that is really important to me as a shooter player. Now, if I had just played Call of Duty my whole life, I would never have that contrast. And I wouldn't have any argument when saying, kills don't feel satisfying. Because if somebody asked me, what would make them more satisfying? I'd say something stupid like, I wish they would explode. Maybe that's a little bit of an overreaction, and I'm not saying you need to have played every shooter in the world to properly judge one of them, but it certainly helps. If you want a well-rounded, critical, and even, dare I say, from my mouth, more mature opinion about a game, you need to have the experience of other shooters. You need to have seen them, felt them, played them, and know them by heart. Not just dabble in a couple matches of a game you're not used to, not just watch videos, I mean actually go out, buy the game, ask for the game, get someone else to get you the game, thank you Dylan for Halo 5, and play it. I've talked to so many people that don't understand my problems with Call of Duty. They think I'm just whiny or bitchy, and they don't realize I've played well over 30 shooters, and I don't mean I have touched the controls of 30 shooters and played like a match of each one. No, I got heavily invested in over 30 first-person shooters. Some at the same time, some later or earlier in my life, some at friends' houses that I, continuously went to, and some that I actually owned. A lot of them were free to play, but they still had features and things present within their game that I thoroughly enjoyed and I wish more shooters would do. I might do a video on that later. Let me know in the comment section below if you want to see that. But anyway, with that wide variety of shooter knowledge, I look at things like Call of Duty and I feel like I'm more qualified than some other people to have a critical opinion about it. Oh, that's douchey. What? Knowledge is douchey? Is it a jerk to say I know more about that? I feel like I should be able to talk about it. It's not even a confidence or a power move. It's just honest truth. And if I was going to be totally honest, I've probably played way more than 30 shooters. All of the Battlefield games, all of the Medal of Honor games, with the exception of 2 games that I never got my hands on. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. All of the Halo games, well over 25 free-to-play shooters that I got into. Games at friends' houses that were just on and off shooters like Brothers in Arms and stuff like that. Tons of shooters. And I'm not bragging. What I'm saying is your experience shapes your opinion. If you don't have the experience, your opinion comes off as uneducated, unthoughtful, and just kind of there. And you don't want your opinions to just be there. You don't want your opinion to just be words that fell out of your mouth. You want it to be a thought, a critical, analytical, well thought out thought. Make sense? Good. Let me tell you about an old kind of ex-friend of mine. His name was Dakota. At least that's the code name I'll use for him. And he had a game idea for a video game called Phoenix Rising. Now keep in mind, he wanted to make a game that was a little bit like Halo, but way better in every respect. He had played Halo 3, Halo 4, and Halo Reach. So 3 Halo games, not bad. He had played 1 Call of Duty, no Battlefield games, never heard of Medal of Honor until I mentioned it to him, and there was just nothing that actually stuck with him. He barely knew about Counter-Strike. Barely. His sheer lack of shooter knowledge came out every time he talked to me about his ideas. You guys think I talk a lot on my channel. He would blab my ear off for 25 minutes about how he'd make the best first-person shooter of the century. And I would just sit there thinking, that wouldn't work. That doesn't work. I've played shooters that have implemented things like that. It doesn't work. You can't have maps laid out like that. You can't have level systems like that. You can't have weapons that do that. You can't have players that can do that. That's garbage. But of course, I didn't have the patience to argue with him because he had already made up his mind. So I would just sit there and go, and that's just kind of what you have to do. The thing is, I really realized there, right then and there, that my shooter knowledge would come in very handy in a critical review or discussion about first-person shooters. That's why I'm making this video right now. Now that I've played Halo 5, not extensively, but enough. I've played so many shooters, I don't need 3 weeks to fully figure out a game. It took me about 2 days to figure out what Halo 5 is all about, and learning the meta and understanding it, watching some videos here and there of pros playing and whatever. It's not hard. This shit comes easy to me. But then you have Battlefield 4, which is a game I've played for over a year now. You have Black Ops 3, which we've all been playing for the same amount of time. And with all of these games circulating around my playtime, including other things like Battlefront as well, all these things circulating, oh, and Counter-Strike, thank you, Steven, for that. All these shooters and all these things around me made me think, I feel like people underestimate the power of experience and versatility. And I mean versatility in knowledge. So, before you talk about a video game as a whole, before you complain about Call of Duty, before you analyze Halo, before you make fun of Battlefield, really ask yourself what goes into making a good first-person shooter. What makes, breaks, or destroys a first-person shooter? What kind of meta is too easy to abuse? Not gonna lie, if you have enough knowledge, you can look at a game, and in about 4 or 5 matches of the game, depending on how long they are and what shooter you're playing, you can understand the meta, how easy it is to abuse, what the good players do, what the bad players do, and you have to be able to look at yourself as a bad player. When you've played enough games, you know what it feels like to know nothing, and you also know what it feels like to be bullshitted. What I'm trying to say here, and what I'm being redundant with, is that your experiences will form your opinion, so go out and have those experiences. That's right, go out and have those experiences, and by that I mean come back and play more video games in your house, you lonely bastard. Too real. But either way, if you want to be taken seriously on YouTube, on your blog, on Twitter, with your friends, have a well-formed arsenal of shooter knowledge, or any kind of knowledge. Look at Egoraptor, creator of sequelitis. Watch a sequelitis video. Right now, I'm going to link it down in the description below. Sequelitis video. I'll do the Legend of Zelda one, okay? Watch that. He knows video games. He knows what makes a good video game, and he knows what made a good Legend of Zelda game. He doesn't just play 1 or 2 types of games and bitches about them like, oh my god, that sucked, oh my god, that sucked. And he's not a review artist, because review artists is a totally asinine thing if you think about it. It's somebody whose whole purpose is to sit down and judge the game. The people that are more suited to judge a game are the people that bought the game to enjoy it, and then whatever followed formed their opinion. So go watch Egoraptor and see what I'm ripping off. I mean, see what I'm trying to replicate. I mean, see a good style of video. The thing about shooters, the thing about making any type of video about shooters, is that if you don't fully understand what goes in to making a good one, what goes into making sure it has a good frame rate, good map flow, good netcode, if you don't know what goes into that, then your opinions will fall flat, and many people, smart and dumb, will see directly through you. This is a critical thinking exercise. look at all the shooters you've played and ask yourself what went in to making your playtime better than other people's playtime. But remember, and this goes for me too, no matter how well versed you are in video game knowledge, it doesn't make you right. It doesn't make your opinion gospel. It just makes it hold more weight, and it's still a good thing to talk about. And it's a better thing to talk about if you know what you're talking about. So, with this in mind, I want you to know I'm going to be doing a video later on where I talk about Counter-Strike and Halo taking a lot less skill than Call of Duty. It's not a full-on opinion, it's not my thought, it's not my belief, but it's an interesting idea that I have to share with you guys about easily abused metas. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not even saying I believe it. I'm going to try to go the whole video when I go to record it without saying whether I believe it or not, and just recommending it as a notion. And you guys will have to decide for yourself if the notion is worth listening to. And if you stayed this long and you're a smaller YouTuber, blogger, whatever, take this knowledge to heart, please. I know what I'm talking about. I have watched so many YouTubers try to discuss a game or the balancing aspects of a game, and I just laugh, and I'm like, dude, you're just going off of your one game, and it's like, oh, this happened in Black Ops and I didn't like it, so it shouldn't be there. It's like, no, that happened in Black Ops because if it didn't happen, this would happen, and you can make these connections. And I'm being vague because being specific when it comes to all of these different aspects of a shooter, you know, would make this video go up to like, what, 16 minutes or something. But seriously, go ahead, think about this for yourself, gnaw on it, and I hope when I make the video, you guys don't get mad at me. If you stayed this far in the video, I always encourage you guys to leave a comment letting me know that you watched it all the way through. I don't want to look at video analytics, I want to hear from you guys that you guys watched it. But I'm still gonna watch video analytics because I need to know if I'm making any money from this bullshit. I mean, I like this. I'm kidding, you guys know I do, otherwise I wouldn't waste my time on it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye! So, Ian, yes, you're going to be making a video about how Counter-Strike Go, Global Offensive, takes less skill than Call of Duty. Would you like your casket to be mahogany, steel? Mahogany's good. Yeah, thank you.